Severe weather is going to really spread out this week, and we've seen some pretty strong storms today. We've also seen quite a bit of moisture across the far southwest. That's kept the showers and the storms around, and we've got this area of low pressure. It's a broad area of low pressure here spinning across the southeast, bringing some rain, and some of that rain could be heavy over the next couple of days, and then things get kind of weird. We're going to talk about that in the video today as we see more cool air moving in from the northwest. Temperatures could be a good 10 to 20 degrees below normal across parts of the plains. All right, let's look at the upper air chart as we head through the weekend into early next week. We've got this decent ridge of high pressure aloft building in here across the Rio Grande River Valley across Texas. Relatively dry, very summer-like. Across our front, which would be pretty much cutting the country in half, on the northern side of this, we're going to be cool. Temperatures below average, and along this, over the next several days through Friday and Saturday, I think we're going to see multiple rounds of showers, storms. Some of those could be even severe. The Storm Prediction Center is eyeing Thursday, also into Friday, maybe even beyond that. Let's continue to push this out in time. We'll look at that severe weather in just a moment, but look what the European is trying to do as we move into the weekend. A really cold core of air dropping in from Saskatchewan and Manitoba, diving into parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Underneath this, you betcha it's going to be cold across parts of Wisconsin, moving into the Great Lakes. Temperatures, again, close to 20 degrees below average with showers around and the clouds. Not feeling like June 9th at this point, maybe more like April or so. That will start to change those we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures start to rebound. We start to see quite a bit of ridging out ahead of our next trough, which is digging here into the west. Ahead of this, there could be some severe weather. Now, I don't know how far east it makes it. I think you do watch this time period, though. And overall, we've got this upper air ridge starting to build across parts of Florida and the southeast U.S. With this type of setup, now we're starting to move into the period where you watch for tropical development into the Caribbean. I don't know if we see anything develop, but the question is, do we open things up for the Gulf Coast states for the potential for seeing some kind of tropical storm or hurricane? I don't know. It's still too far out in my mind to guess at that. But one thing's for sure, your storm track now is way to the north of what we're seeing right now. Let's look at the precipitable water, because I think that tells the story of all that moisture that we're seeing across the southwest. Still a flash flood threat across parts of northern Arizona, southern parts of Utah, southwest Colorado, even into parts of New Mexico. And then look at this tropical moisture too. It's deep across the Carolinas as this low moves by. There was some question if this thing was offshore, does it develop into some type of tropical system? Either way, some tropical downpours likely with this type of setup. Let's look at the storms, though. Heading into Thursday, from Maine to Texas. The strongest storms, though, will be across Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas, where there's going to be a decent tornado risk, especially here in the panhandle of Oklahoma, southern parts of Kansas, far southeast Colorado, even up here into North Texas. I don't know that we get too much in the way of tornadoes out towards Dallas, but there still could be a few strong storms, and especially as we head into Friday, look how this stretches out. Now your front's dropping further to the south. You're going to have this one piece of energy that's pushing off to the east through the Tennessee Valley that's going to bring a round of storms, and more storms firing up across Texas and Oklahoma. So multiple days of pretty strong thunderstorm activity across this area. All right, let's go to the southwest first. Then we'll work our way across the country. This upper low has been spinning across the southwest for several days. Our rain shower chances aren't going to go away. They're certainly going to get a little bit lower, I think, as we head into the weekend. But still, we start off in the mornings relatively dry as we heat things up. A few afternoon showers and storms possible, especially as we head into Sunday and then heading into Monday. Not a lot of change out here. More scattered afternoon showers and storms. This is where the severe weather is going to be. Let's move east through the overnight. We've got these storms that will likely move through parts of Oklahoma and also into Texas. But heading into tomorrow, watch out here in the Ohio Valley, especially here into southern Illinois, southern Indiana. There could be a few strong storms and here into parts of Tennessee and Arkansas as well. But as we head into the afternoon, you want to watch back here again into Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Some of these storms back here could get really tall and really strong. Big hail makers also possible here with damaging winds and a few tornadoes. This will continue to spread east as we move through the overnight Thursday into early Friday morning. Heavy rain possible with these as they drive off to the east. Even once we get past midnight into the early morning hours of Friday, maybe some kind of thunderstorm complex moving through central Oklahoma. Time will tell on that. We will see how all that shapes up. Here's a look at your temperatures on Thursday. Much cooler to the north. 60s and 70s for highs. Let's go to the east. Here's the area of low pressure driving up the Carolina coast. A lot of tropical moisture here. Heavy rain possible here into eastern North Carolina. That's moving offshore pretty quickly. There could be a few strong storms, though, from parts of eastern Ohio up into Pennsylvania, even as far north, again, I think all the way up into Maine. Watch these storms as this front moves through. Gusty winds, some hail possible with these, and then temperatures start to drop behind the front. More storms as we head into Friday, late Thursday night into early Friday morning. Some of these could linger into parts of Ohio with some heavy rain, maybe a thunderstorm complex that will weaken as we move through the overnight into early Friday morning as it drives towards Pittsburgh and Erie, Pennsylvania, also toward West Virginia. Once we get into the afternoon, though, we're unstable here across the Tennessee Valley, even into parts of Virginia, and I would go ahead and say West Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, southeast Pennsylvania. Some of these storms could pulse up and get strong to severe. Damaging winds, hail, all possible here. An isolated tornado, I don't know, that could be completely ruled out. Doesn't look like a massive tornado threat at this point, but watch these storms right in here, heading into late Friday night into early Saturday. Northern Arkansas, southern Missouri, into West Tennessee, West Kentucky. I think this right here would be the area with the strongest dynamics and the potential for the strongest thunderstorms. Cool underneath the clouds and the rain across the Piedmont and the coastal plain of North Carolina heading into Thursday, also into Friday. We stay chilly, especially up here into the Delmarva Peninsula, up towards New Jersey, with clouds and showers around. Temperatures do rebound nicely, though, at least back into the Carolinas, into the 80s, close to 90 for places like Charlotte and Raleigh, up to Norfolk. We're probably a little cooler, though, but still warmer than we've been. And then the clouds keep us relatively cool across the Ohio Valley and chilly across the Northeast, back into the 40s again. It looks like early Sunday morning, even up into Michigan, still dropping back into the 40s. Let's look at things long term. We're going to take you all the way through the weekend into next week. I'm going to let this roll. This is the European. You're seeing these impulses of storms that are riding east along our front that's kind of draped like this. You've got this upper trough that's swinging through here, area of low pressure, wrapping up around the Great Lakes, dropping in some cooler air for Monday and Tuesday with showers around for Michigan into Wisconsin. And on the southern side of this, it looks kind of wet across the southeast with this type of setup. And I do want to jump ahead here, okay? This is the GFS. It's been advertising some kind of hurricane, something. It does that all the time. It's one of the most feedback-prone models out there. But the fact that this upper level pattern is there, you can see it. The question is, does some sort of tropical storm, some type of tropical entity form? Now, it was trying to bring something ashore as early as, Thursday, the 12th and the 13th, but look, nothing is there now. So that's why you can't take these operational models and go, it's going to be this exactly. You can't do that. You look for hints, you look for things that are showing up, and the GFS is still hinting, there you go, at something forming still. Granted, it's a week off of what it was maybe a few days ago, and look at that, brings it up the west coast of Florida. Let's look at the midday run. It was also bringing something a little bit different looking, though, but it brings something definitely close to Florida. And once we get toward the 17th, 18th, and 19th, I don't know. All of this looks very GFS. I don't know. Sometimes I call it the goofus because it does some pretty goofus things sometimes. Sometimes it nails it, though. All right. That's all I got. See ya.